13, 14 seconds and I'm live. Listening to Johnny Coltrane as usual. What was that? Tea from Wingstop, Stephen Massey. DJ went got wings and fries. Sweet tea. I got tea. Ooh, that's sweet. And coffee. Lipstick on over. Hey guys. This is me. And all of my, whatever you want to call it, that I possess. Strangeness. Whatever, I can go off on a tangent about myself, but I won't. I'll save that. But I'm listening to Johnny right now, and if you can hear me, awesome. If not, I will turn it off in just a moment, because this is how I do. This is Art Books Live. I see a lot of people are having a problem with saying my channel, because it looks like Art Books Live. I might have to change it back to what my other channel is, Art Books Life, because again, that's been with me since the 90s, and so I think I might change it back. I'm not going to change it to Booktube Live, that's just going to be the title, and I'm going to change the title right now if you are here or watch this video and wonder why it doesn't say what I'm going to be talking about, because it said something from last week. No, I do not have another book haul or library haul or anything like that. I don't even know what it says. Let's see here. Dealing with book anxiety. How about just plain old anxiety? And how about I take that out now? So hi 3 people. Hi Kia Danae. Hi KT. Hi Pretty Brown-Eyed Rita. Hi Najiri. Hi Stephen Massey. Hi Marley Massey. Hi Angela D. Hi Denise Rader. Hi Alicia. Hi Patricia. Hi. Hi. Let's change this. What are we going to talk about? How about nerves? Do you get nervous reading poetry? Do you get nervous when you upload videos for your YouTube to the Tube channel? Let's find out. Let's talk about that stuff. What? Do booktubers get nervous reading out loud? Let's talk about that crap then. I do it all the time. I have no idea why. Because I've been on here for, what I said, since 2006. Hi Najiri. I'm gonna, ooh, I was about to turn on the Cartel because it's right beside me. Let me turn off Johnny. I hate that I have lag. You guys, I don't know. I just still haven't got the modem that they told me to get. I just think they should bring it to me. But now that Johnny is off, I guess I can do a proper introduction and talk to the people. We're going to talk about some poetry. We're going to talk about nerves. Do booktubers get nervous making videos? Do you like, why? I mean, you got to just, I mean, it's under your control. And all you got to do is like stop the gosh darn video and make another one until you get it darn right. So what's up with those nerves, Denise Cooper? What is up with that terrible poetry reading today? Why did you push yourself to do that? Why? I don't understand. Why do you do these things? Why do you force yourself to be uncomfortable so that you can share it with the people? Is it all about sharing, or is it just trying to learn something about yourself from year to year? Yes. Is it about growth and development? Yes. Is it about getting over your fears? Yes. Kind of all sounds the same, right? Yes. Anyway, this is Denise Cooper. Welcome to it. This is the Blackout Baby. The Blackout. The Blackout Baby. Say what? I heard you. It's the Blackout. It is the Blackout Year in Books 2018. Hashtag reading Blackout in the midst of Black History Month. Yeah. And we celebrate it by hashtag read so lit. So I had a good time watching everybody's videos. Still watching some videos, not caught up with everything, because, you know, if we catch up with everything, sometimes you just don't know what to do with your own life. But I practically been sitting here watching videos all day. I've been watching some very interesting videos. A channel that I follow, this young man talks about African queens and African sisters in battle, and oh man, his channel is amazing, and I'm sure I have to go to it now that I talked about it, because I didn't plan on talking about it, but I'll leave a link if you guys are already subscribed and know what I'm talking about, or if you follow me on Twitter, and every time I hit like KT and we're constantly going back and forth, and I get all of hers. I don't know how I'm not getting all of everybody else's. You know what I get? I get KT's, and then I get a group. In case you miss Nettie or Corafor, or in case you miss Ink and Paper Blog, in case you miss Bernice McFadden, and it's all together. The KTs are all individual. So every time she hits like, I get them individual, which helps me keep up with Booktube by way of Booktube, right? So anyway, again, this is Art Books Live on Booktube. Hashtag let's do this. Okay. All right. So let's talk about it. And I'm going to first say hi to everybody that's actually here. Hi, guys. This is Denise Cooper, and I want to introduce you to the chat room. Their names are, well, actually, there's 3 people in the chat room. There's 8 people watching now. So those of you who are in the background, chilling out with your popcorn, or working on your art, or doing whatever it is you do, washing dishes, cooking, eating with your family, and just listening, because sometimes people listen to Art Books Live from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Overboard as if this is a podcast. And I think you guys that have asked, do I have a podcast? Would I start one? Listen to all those people who don't watch and just listen like it's a podcast. That's why I constantly try to keep talking and not having any lapse. But sometimes there's lapse in podcast. Okay, time to drink and calm the heck down. Hi, Najiri. Hi, Kia Dene. Hi, Comfy Cozy Up. Hi, Angela D. You know, I can't see. I took off my glasses, so I'm just kind of going by memory. So, hello, Brittany Wiggins. Hey. How are you? And I'm fine. I'm just going to drink some very doggone it sweet tea. I'm telling you, I could put this in an ice cube and have it as a popsicle tomorrow, because this stuff is sweet. So guess what I'll be doing? I'll be up all night painting. That's just terrible. Talking with my mouth full and stuff. My mama would slap me. But anyway. ASMR. So anyway. So those of you who watched the Read So Let video that I put up today, because I wanted to, I was thinking about doing a painting. I was supposed to do a painting and an original poem called Black Mother, but unfortunately I didn't get around to that, because I'm still painting feathers on an angel that I had no clue that I was going to be painting. And that's one of the things I just truly love. Those are the things I don't get nervous about. So I'm kind of challenging myself to do a painting every week, and it's already Saturday, and this has been up for the 2nd week, and I don't mind, because I know I can get caught up. Some of the paintings I'm just going to have to take more time with, because I have more that I need to put on there. Like, I need to put on their shoes. I've got their shoes on. However, there's no detail, and I want some detail in those goddamn shoes, okay? And I want some detail in her face. I still have to put her hair on. I still got a lot of work to do. But anyway, I wanted to apologize for all of you who watched my video earlier and had to rewind it and had to, you know, tough it out and listen to that. I'm telling you, sometimes it's just basically, I don't know about you. Those of you who create, or those of you who watch and actually maybe go to college and do speeches and debates and whatever, or go to work and have to put together a presentation. Do you have to make yourself hype, or are you just literally just this naturally hype type of person where you're just ready to go push the button and boom, I'm on. The speech is just great. Are you one of those people? Or do you have to make yourself like muddle through it? I want to know, because it's not like I'm going to change like overnight with the nerves that I've had all of my lives in doing this. One thing I don't get nervous about, I could like dance in front of thousands of people or hundreds and hundreds of people, and you can't see them. You just feel energy. And so you just dance. And I have no nerves, just nervous energy, like that's basically just energy, not nervous like in scare or fear. However, being in a play is different completely, and it could be less people. But I do find the amount of people does make a difference in whether I'm completely, totally on edge with the nerves, or if there's a few people. Like if there's a few people versus hundreds and maybe thousands, the nerves differ. If there's, now this is the strange part, if it's a few people, I am hecka nervous. If it's lots of people and all eyes are on me, for some reason that show out gene goes up and you just like, I don't care, I'm using it. You just have this energy and bam, you don't even realize that you are trying to relay a message or entertain or anything like that. And so it's in those moments when I'm ridiculously nervous in front of a few people or just this camera, knowing that it is live. And if I fall off my chair, you're going to see it, or if whatever, you know, that kind of a thing. So it's kind of nerve-wracking doing this, but I make myself do it because, number one, I do like it. Don't get me wrong. But I am a sucker for trying to push through something that I'm uncomfortable with, just so that I can see the growth at the end of the finish line of what I've done. I don't care if it's a 10-minute video or 11-minute video that I had to struggle through. I want to see how I end up on the other side, because if I don't, then it's always going to bug me. Why didn't I do it? Why didn't I do it? Why don't you do it this way? Why don't you do it that way? Why don't you just wait till you're comfortable? How about no? How about I wait until I'm just ridiculously at the last minute and have to push myself through it so that I can look back on it and go, oh, I like that part. I hate that. Oh my gosh, that makes me cringe. Why did I do that video that way? Oh, no wonder it's a thumbs down, because it sucked. That kind of a thing. I don't know. Anybody else like that? Is that weird? Is it weird? Anyway, is that an eyelash? I've been battling eyelashes all day. Those of you who are getting older, are you losing your eyelashes? They're still there. They just like, I keep feeling them fall on my face. You see that? They're still there. What I'm supposed to be doing. And did the camera go off? Am I talking to anybody? Are you there? My camera. Oh, I just noticed. I hit it. Uh-oh. So, it says I'm live, but I'm frozen. I'm frozen. Oh my gosh. I'm frozen. We're just going to have to catch up. I don't know what's going on. But it says I should stop streaming or something. Good. It says live. Maybe it's just lagging. 10 people watching. Hi, 10 people. If you can hear me, it says that I'm live. However, I don't have any. Yeah, I'm even frozen on YouTube. Lagging. 10 people watching. Hi, 10 people. If you can hear me, it says that I'm seriously live. However, I don't have any. Okay. So basically, we're on podcast. I'm even frozen on YouTube. I'm gonna disconnect the camera. 10 people watching. Hi, 10 people. If you can hear me, now it says that I'm seriously live. However, I don't have any. Okay. So basically, we're on podcast. I'm even frozen on YouTube. I'm gonna disconnect the camera. Let's just start over. I mean, that's all I can do is just start over. Let me see what you guys are seeing now. Now it says I'm live. It says 9 people are watching. So basically, let's just start over. There we go. I mean, that's all I can do is just start over. Let me see what you guys are seeing now. Now it says I'm live. It says 9 people are watching. So basically, let's just start over. There we go. I mean, that's all I can do. That's how, yeah. So I just turned me off and watched me for a little bit to make sure that I'm live again. So if you are here, So sorry. Now it says 3 people, so we've lost some folks. So sorry for the technical difficulties. Should I restart, Johnny, and wait on you? Never had this one happen. Anyway, we're just gonna keep it moving because these are recorded, and so now I'm gonna have a mashup of recorded lives that are disconjointed, as if I needed anything else, right? For the topic. All right. Thank you. I'm not you guys. I know you're here, but I'll need a minute again. Hey, Phyllis Rhodes. Hey, Helen H. Thanks, KT. I didn't see what Comfy Cozy Up says. She's half asleep, but she's here. I'm gonna turn off John Coltrane so that you can actually hear. Bam. Well, let's do this again. Now this is going to be a second recording. Hello, 8 people. How about I rehash? What did I say? No, I'm just joking. If you would like to know, this is Denise Cooper of Art Books Live, and we're talking about nerves. And I think hopefully I saved the topic. And it's just, yep. Booktube Live. Do booktubers get nervous reading out loud? That's what we were talking about before I had some technical difficulties. And so not going to rehash the whole conversation. I'm going to read what they said before. I think it saved the chat. So I'm just going to read out loud what you guys said, and then we'll continue on from there. So the first person is Brittany Wiggins. She says, hey. Angela D says, hello. Kia Dene says, hello. Comfy Cozy Up says, half asleep, but here. Phyllis Rhodes, multitasking, but I'm listening and viewing. Yes. Keisha Forsaken says, hello. Randy Parks, hi, Randy husband. Hi, Randy Parks. How are you? And Helen H says, I do the same thing. I push right on through. You never know what the end result will be. Exactly. Yes. And don't you feel a sense of, like, even though, if you even look back at or have a chance to, if it's some presentation at work, of course you can get some feedback from people at work that have witnessed your presentation or your debate or what have you. And so that you get that kind of instant gratification to know that whether you've done a good job or not, or if the information was relayed well or what have you. But with videos, the bonus in that is you get to watch it back for yourself at home by yourself. You don't have to pay attention to the comment sections until you've had a chance to critique yourself. So a lot of booktubers or YouTubers, period, that upload videos, I've watched some YouTubers outside of Booktube say they don't watch their own videos until they start vlogging, and then they go, I shouldn't have, whatever. And a lot of the vloggers I noticed talk about, I took this much time to do this video, I took this and I did that. I'm like, just vlog, right? And so I think that would be my critique for myself if I did anything. I was like, stop talking about the process. But why not talk about the process? Why not talk about the nerves and uploading a video, something that you actually have control over? You can just don't like that. I did that today with the poetry video. However, the one I did, the third one, I was like, that's it. I was calmer. It was a terrible read to me. And then some of the poems were really good. I actually start to warm up on the last poem. So I just basically wanted to talk about that tonight, and also some books. And some DeCesso, Deirdre, who has an amazing channel with coffee table books, she had asked that question, would I read some more of my poetry? And she had to double back to get all of what I was saying in the poem that I wrote. So I gave her this long answer because I was like getting ready to go on live thinking, yeah, I will. And even though I don't want to, I want to, for the sake of the whole thing that I just talked about. It's just muddling through. Now I got a yellow stream, so hopefully you guys can hear me and see. And I'm just going to scroll up just to see if, yeah, I can see. Okay, so anywho, it is. Oh, let me catch up. Let me go back up. For those of you who are new to the channel, I'm talking to the people in the chat room. This is live, Booktube Live. And thank you guys for all the subscribers. You guys are still coming in. So if you are new, I appreciate you. I really do, because I love seeing the channel grow. I really do. It's more people for us to talk to, more critiques. I've said it before, but nobody has done it yet. If you choose to thumb down anything on my videos, please leave a comment as to why. Now, some people are just trolls and they're not going to do that. But I notice, like on some YouTubers that have huge following, they can have 4,000, 5,000 likes and 3,000 dislikes. It's like, why come over there to that channel constantly just to dislike it? So one dislike for me, or 2 or 3, the most I think I've ever had or just noticed was like 3 one time, and that was for the Toni Morrison review for the book that I did not care for. So either I had some sensitive booktubers or book lovers or whatever that just love her and didn't think I should say anything negative about her. And this is a woman that I love near and dear to my heart, and I don't know her more than any of you know her, and we just love her as her audience. And so anyway, with all that said, because I've talked about that before, but just noticing how creators on YouTube, no matter what the community is, I notice a lot of people do that. They talk about the process of making the video. And so sometimes that could be a put off to somebody when you just kind of want to go there and watch the content. But sometimes it's necessary, because why are we talking about it so much? Is it nerve-wracking? Yeah. So I watched KT's video today, where she started with being outside, taking her car and dropping it off for some servicing. And then she went home, and, the next scene, she's at home and she's talking about J. California Cooper, right? And her videos are very flawless and very comfortable. Her videos are much like reading a J. California Cooper book, where you actually think this person on the other end that I'm watching and smiling about whenever, get time to watch her videos, is actually somebody that I know and care about. Like I could love her like a sister. And so I think that's a hell of a comment. J. California Cooper in KT's videos. Heck to the yes. You got to get praise to those that you think about, and because you just never know. But I always do that. I kind of think you guys know that by now about me. But making videos, does it make you nervous? Do you only weed out the bad stuff? And I'm a sucker for looking at the bad stuff or putting it out there in my one-shoot videos, the things that I don't edit. And today I edit that video on my computer, and it's just crazy. It takes for freaking ever, because I am not a graphic designer. I don't know how to do all that stuff, and so I love it. At the same token, but I need a better program, because I'm just using the one that's on the computer, which goes pretty slow. But today it went kind of fast, but I think the slow process to me is because I'm always thinking I could have been painting. I'm listening to the Cartel, which I'm on Cartel 4, you guys. But let me tell you why. Let me tell you a little bit. We're going to talk books for just a second. This is Booktube Live, but it is Art Books Live. Live part about this is talking about the nerves and all that. The art I've just talked about. The books. I'm listening to Cartel number 4. Now we are reading #ReadSoulLit, Tar Baby by Toni Morrison, which I read, I think, 2 years ago. Yep, 2 years ago. And I loved the physical book. I have it with me. It's here. And I have the copy of the audio version by way of my library. So let me see what you guys are seeing, because I don't want this to be out of focus and all out of light and all that stuff like we're talking. But you guys know I do this all the time. So this is it. Tar Baby by Toni Morrison. And this is read by Desiree Coleman. Desiree Coleman? Like the singer? Isn't there a singer named Desiree Coleman? Anyway, I'll have to look into that, because you guys know I like to figure out what audio narrators that I really like and look up their work. Well, she's good, and it sounds very monotone almost compared to how I read the book. Now, 2 years ago when I read the physical book, I freaking loved it. I did. And I enjoyed it. And somebody obviously enjoyed it, because this is a used book and they got pencil writing in it. But I enjoyed the read more so than I'm enjoying the audio. The audio is kind of like a rehash of this, like I already know, because it's only been 2 years since I've read this. So it's not like at first I was like, man, what was it about? It was really good. I remember just loving it. And I talked about this on this channel before when I did read it. So I'm thinking, wow, not so much. And it's given me a different outlook of the book. And that's why I have God Bless the Child on audio, read by Toni Morrison, the author, because when I read the physical book, I was so in high expectation of it and just was hungry for it. And I remember sitting at the library because they had a jazz concert. Excuse me, they had a jazz concert inside the library, and downtown library. It's just huge. And so all these tables are sitting around, and the librarian comes. She goes, oh, that's our newest Toni Morrison book. She goes, how are you liking it? I said, yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's all right. It's good. And whatever. And the thoughts I already talked about. But I think this time, because it's been a few years since I've read it, now I get to hear her wonderful raspy voice that I love so much while I'm painting. I think it's going to be phenomenal. That's my thought, because it had so much in there that was so good, but something that I missed because I was just so hyped and I got it off the shelf right then, and that sometimes can ruin it for some people. Not all, some. And so I think it ruined it for me, but I'm not going to change my view on it because I haven't listened to it again yet. However, in saying all that, we're reading this, and I loved reading it more than I loved listening to it. So maybe I should look for an audio version with Toni Morrison reading it, and before the end of this month, so I can I'll start over, because I'm on CD 3 already on Tar Baby, and I like the story. I like Michael and his mother. At this point, I'm just very close to the beginning, where the mother is waiting on Michael to come home, and she's just getting all excited, and everybody's like, he ain't coming. That boy is not coming home. He'll never come home, or whatever. So we're at that point. If you have not read it, I hope I didn't spoil it for you, because you don't know if he's there or not. Anyway, we're talking about the current reads and that audio versus physical again. I'm telling you, it makes a difference. And so does it make a difference on how you actually feel about a book, judge a book, read a book, review a book, all that stuff. Booktube. It's a learning process. It's like, I just love it. I do. It's almost like being in class, but you're the teacher and the student at the same time. And I did not make this channel to teach anybody nothing. It's just, you can't help but relay some of your information, and somebody take that as, I didn't know that. Or, it's interesting that she looks at it like that. I didn't see it like that. Yeah, she is way off the meters with that. So it doesn't matter what you're planned to do when you upload these videos or go live and have the nerve to discuss your opinions about something, and whether the nerves are getting to you or not. There's still that element of there's somebody out there listening that may take your words to heart. And you can't say everything in a video. no, not in 1 hour, not even 1 hour and a half, everything that I may feel about both of those Toni Morrison books. As you guys know, I won't even bring up Beloved and Song of Solomon, which are my favorite Toni Morrison books, but I can't wait for the live discussion that Dee Dee's going to have for it, because you get to hear so many different opinions, and I'm loving everybody. When you go to Goodreads, you guys, look at everybody that's currently reading Tar Baby all over again or for the first time. It's a beautiful thing. So that's my little talk right now. I'm just going to go and see what everybody's saying. Oh, heck of shiny, Lord. Yeah, heck of makeup on too. Anyway, it is 9 people. It is 32 minutes and 37 seconds rather, and counting. And let me scroll down. So I see that we're frozen. We can hear you. You are frozen, but we can hear you. Okay, now I'm going down to all the chat. Okay, so after I said thanks everyone for your patience, that's where I'm picking up. So if you are coming back in, 10 people watching, so let me know what your thoughts are. If you are just watching or listening in the background, that is cool too. I appreciate you for that. Those of you who are not in the chat, and maybe once this goes recorded and on the channel, I'd appreciate a comment. And we'll be talking about I got some windows up, so I do want to do that. Kind of wanted to stop at 1 hour, but at the same token, I probably won't tonight. I'm going to go as long as I possibly want to, and I'm like in the mood to just talk, as if you haven't noticed. Drink. Cheers. Yeah, I spit the ice back in there because I don't want to crunch again, because I'm an ice eater, iron's low, and all that stuff. I already know. That poem you read today that you wrote was so beautiful and emotional. Thank you, KT. That's what she said. And basically, that whole video is why I wanted to talk about some poetry and force myself to, and also your comment and Deirdre's comment about my poem. Now, this poem was from my book from years and years ago. And I kept going, I'm never going to write or put out this poetry again. I'm going to take my sweater off. I just don't want to see my underarms. It's hot in here. We got the heat on in Texas, and I got this light up here, and I ain't got time to be being hot. I'm old. Anyway, so let me start moving around before I knock the camera out again. But anyway, oh, that feels so good. So anyway, this is the book that I was reading from. Yeah, this is why, exactly, I'm not this person anymore. But there are so many poems in here that I like that I can take out of there and put it in another collection of poetry and short stories that I'm working on. And I just read today, my son comes in my room and we're talking, and I read his short story. If you watch my other channel, I already talked about this, but he wrote a short story during the time that I started the book that I want to finish. And that's during NaNoWriMo, probably 2014, 2015, I don't know, a few years ago when I lived at the house. And I finished, you know, the NaNoWriMo challenge. Let me take these off because there's glare. So anyway, we were both talking about it. We've been talking about it for a couple of days now, and he said he went back and he read his short story, and he was like, it's so good, you know, when you look back at it, or, you know, just leave it alone for a while, and then you go back with new eyes, and it's, even though it's yours, and if the story is good, it's good to you, and that's a good sign, right? So he comes in here and he gives me his laptop, and I read it, and it was good. I really like it. I remember at the end of it, I was like, okay, so now what's going to happen? Did he ever get, you know, DJ goes, I don't know. He goes, I don't know until, you know, he doesn't know until he writes it. He doesn't want to know is what he was saying. And I love that. And that was one of the beauties about finishing the story that the novel that I'm working on, is the fact that I don't want to know too far ahead. Like, I just started writing it. And I didn't want to, I wanted a really good paragraph for the beginning of the book, but I just wanted to start writing it. And then, like, during that month of NaNoWriMo, like the last couple of days, I went back to the story and I typed the first thing that was on my head. I was like, oh my God, it came to me, and I wrote it out and I read it to my daughter. I was like, this paragraph is going in the beginning, even though the beginning is kind of telling the mindset of this woman that you soon find out later, but it's so pivotal. You got to have that at the beginning. It's, even though at day 28 or 29 or 30 in November, that's when it hit me. And so I left it alone for months on end, and I went back and I read the paragraph, and I was like, dang, that is good. So not that I'm just saying it's good because I didn't have to edit a lot. I didn't have to try to figure out where I was going with it. And there's a lot of the rest of the story where I go, okay, that doesn't fit in there. And that's, oh my God, that was a terrible sentence. That is messed up. Snatch it out or redo it and all that. It's a tedious process with anything, with art, with whatever you're working on, if you're a mechanic, if you are an engineer, if you're whatever. But the tediousness and the hardness, that little hump that you got to get over, that, you know, that butterfly coming out of the cocoon to get that muscle so that they can spread their wings and fly. That part of it is so hard and tedious. But at the same token, you love it, or life would be too easy. And we, as humans, we can say we want an easy, sweet life, but we really don't. If we do, then, not saying that you're lazy if you do, I'm just saying, it would be more of a fantasy, something that's not real. And so we are also adjusted to being real, that those types of mountains that we climb for ourselves are so pivotal to our growth. And I love that part. So when she asked me, was I going to be reading more of my poetry, I'm going to go through and snatch the things out that I really like, that are not about love. Maybe some love, like my love for my mother is in this book. No, my Saul Williams poem is in another book, because this is the third one. This is the third book that I finished and self-published. And literally I would go to work and make $300 a day. I was like, I wasn't advertising. I didn't have a website. You just had to get it from me. And it was just like word of mouth type of thing. And so why did I stop? I wasn't this person anymore. Like I said, some of these are timeless. Those are the ones that I have read over and over and over and over. Like Langston Hughes, when I can read his poems over and over and over. Now there's some, like Gwendolyn Brooks, this book that I read out of today, there's some poems in there that I go, what? And I mean, that's with anybody. And then she's got some poems that will just snatch your wig, you know, just so good. And it's just cool that we're from the same city. Well, she was born in Topeka, Kansas, just like I was, and then she was raised in Chicago. So, yeah. And I went to school with a whole bunch of Brooks that looked just like Gwendolyn Brooks. I'm telling you. And then, of course, so basically that's what I wanted to talk about. And I want to go and see what you guys are saying. There are 11 people. Hello, 11 people. We are 40 minutes in, and we've talked about the nervousness of uploading Booktube videos, at least my nerves. And there's only been one person that I've read so far that had that same type of feeling, and that was Helen H. Now I'm scrolling down. Laugh out loud, you are back, says Helen H. Okay, Phyllis Rhodes, you're good. KT says, I think everyone is coming back in. Okay, that's where I left off. And I think the poem, okay, that's where I left off. Stephanie R. Bridges. Hi, Stephanie. She says, beautiful music. Jazz reminds me of my dad, but I love it now too. I hear you. You know who, and I don't want to get off on this, you know, talking about this man, but, because everybody's got an opinion and everybody's whatever. But Bill Cosby, okay? What that show did for me, for jazz and art, was amazing. And what I'll say about it is that show introduced me to so many jazz greats, and all of us. People know that if you grew up watching the Cosby Show, I remember we lived in Germany, excuse me, at the time, and I was almost about in tears. I was like, I'm not going to be able to watch the Cosby Show. Girl, they had the Cosby Show over in Germany on our military channel. So we had one channel that I watched, you know, from time to time. And The Cosby Show was there. I was like, yes. So anyway, all these jazz musicians and old great actors and actresses introduced on that show. And yes, rest in peace to Grandpa. Just amazing people. And then the art. So when I watched, during that time, there was a talk show. I don't remember whose show he was on, but the man who curated the show, the artist who curated the show, was an artist himself. But, you know, Mr. Cosby wanted to make sure that he got these amazing works of art from just people that he collects and people that, you know, that the art world doesn't speak of much. And so I'm watching this documentary. I don't know where it was. I don't know whose show it was. But anyway, it was like a documentary on the curator of the Cosby Show. And they were at his home, and he's an artist too. And he was talking about each piece of the paintings on the Cosby Show set. And he also went in his backyard, where it was kind of a woody area. And he doesn't use acrylic paints like I do. He didn't use oils for the paintings that he was doing then. I don't know his whole history, but for that particular show, most of his art that he painted, and it was all so beautiful and colorful, came from like leaves. He would boil leaves, berries off the tree that might be poisonous to eat, but he boiled them to get the color. And his art was phenomenal. And so, but yet, you know, you're thinking, if I was a curator of that show, my art be all up just like it is here. But I know that they wouldn't have had that, like maybe one, Denise, but not everything. So this artist was so selfless that he really just gave us so much history with all those artists. I used to look them up, and just like the jazz and the art for that show. So thanks for bringing that up, because seriously, that's who I think about when I listen to Monk, Thelonious Monk, which of course I listen to John Coltrane mostly, but I listen to Thelonious Monk, Miles Davis, and Eric Dolphy became one of my favorites because of the Cosby Show. And I did a painting of Eric Dolphy back in the day when I was doing more like trying to get it right. And he had that really nice goatee that came out here, and he had this little bump on his head. So I did his profile because he was just beautiful, the black lips. And just, that man is fine. Okay, so Eric Dolphy, if you never heard of him, it's just seriously, I learned so much artistically from that show that I don't ever you can't lose it. I don't care if you don't, you know, if you mad at what happened, you disagree, because everybody should disagree with the acts. And you know, we can again, we could go into all that, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the inspiration and what it did for the jazz that you're talking about, and that whole dad issue. I mean, you go into somebody's home every week like that, putting all these positive images, it takes on a father figure role. Because what do? You learn things from your father, right? I'm still reading books like my father. I'm still inspired to do certain things because of the things that I witnessed him doing. And it's the same thing with that show. That's all I'm saying. So don't get on me. Don't bring it here. I'm just saying, you can't take away from what that did, because it was already there before you found out what happened later. That was going on then, if you know what I mean. I'm sure you do. That's a stupid question. And so anyway, thanks, Stephanie. And Musical Toddy. Hi, Musical Toddy. Some of a gun. Okay. How late am I? Hey, it doesn't matter. You are here. Thank you, Toddy. Hi, Toddy. KT says she just got started. There were technical difficulties. Yeah, we're basically going to have 2 videos that are going to pop up on YouTube later. And then she says, great. Great for her, says Toddy. Keisha Forsaken says, haven't watched the poetry video yet, but it's one of the tabs. It's one of the tabs currently open, so I'll be getting it, or to it soon. Sorry. And thank you, child. Go in knowing. First part of it is pretty good. Then it gets, you know. No, it's just, I urge people to look for that. And like if I told you, and that's what I've been talking about for the first video that went off the air, is my nerves in making that video. It was just hectic. It was crazy. It was like I'm at home. There's nobody here. I could delete the video a million times until I get it right, but I don't have time for that because my attention span, like my, I don't want to have to spend that much time getting it right. Like I said, I don't really like to do too much editing, and I edited that video and had to wait. I could have been finished with that painting. So I'm just saying. I'm not supposed to be chomping on the ice, so y'all forgive me. Anyway, so when you watch it, just know, I would love for you to look at where you pick up on that I lost it in a way that where I noticed that there are some times where I was reading it where I was so into knowing that somebody's going to watch this later once I hit public that I couldn't even read the words. And then there were some parts of a poem, because I've read all these poems before several times, okay, and then before I even read them on the video. So you'll notice and say something about it if you want, only if you want, you know, to comment, because like I said before, I use this channel as a, you know, I give my own feedback, and I like feedback from people. I think it's because, I mean, literally, if I didn't have to work a 40-hour-a-week job, I'd be so up in college again. Not that I finished, but I would finish, and I would probably keep going until I'm 90-something or 80-something, or no, my dad passed away, I think 70-something, but he had a triple master's degree. The man wouldn't stop going to school, and he was a college professor. That's what I wish that I would have done with my life, and could still do, but, you know, I got a job. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'll tell y'all a little bit later about something else that I'm cooking up. So anyway, with all that said, look at the video. When you do look at the video, when you have time for it, because there's so many booktube videos out there. There's so much that we have going on this month, this year, as with everything. But pay attention, and then notice how, oh, well, she read this poem like she just was talking to us, like she must really like that one. It's not that I like that one better than the other one that I couldn't get through. That's when the nerves, they go up and down and up and down, and they play with you and they mess with you, and sometimes you're so cognizant of it, and I can't say that word tonight. and then sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're just so there, and it doesn't matter if anybody's gonna watch it later, because for the most part I don't care. Even though I don't really care about if you give me negative feedback or say, hey, you could have done this better. Oh, I noticed you were really struggling through this particular part. I welcome that. I'm not one of those people who go, oh, I know you didn't. Block. I'm never going to do that. Now, y'all need to be blocked up in this chat room saying some nasty stuff, but I'm just saying. And I'm sure you know what I'm saying. So, hold up. This is live, and I'm going to shout, so excuse me. DJ! The heater. It feels like Arizona in here. Thank you. Or Texas in the summer. Jesus. Anyway, Geezus. Not blaspheming. So anyway, I usually watch, let me go back up. Haven't watched, okay, that's where I was. KT says you should read one of your work. You about had me in tears today. Oh, okay, I'm gonna read one, but you know what? It ain't gonna have you in tears. I will just pick out something, but let me get caught up because I'm really behind, and Toddy will get me. So Keisha says, I usually watch my videos over just to see what I need to put in the description box. Girl, yes. Like, oh, that's a cute little catchphrase, I'll call it that. I remember one time I was telling Deirdre, when we were chatting over on Instagram, I just kind of want to make those clickbait titles that people have. Girl, I hate this book. Tune in why I hate this book. And then I was like, oh, I can't do that. I can't. I don't want to become a hate channel and snatch and grab and, you know, get your attention and then you thumbs down it, because that's not what I talked about. I mean, I got all positive, forgot that I was supposed to be hating on something. Yeah. And then Girl, if you see how many takes I have to do, says KT, you know what? The thing is, I understand. I mean, but I would believe it if you said you didn't, because it's your character. You come off very smooth, period, and laid back and very just calm. Like, you know, I am. Sometimes when I think about what people, those little things that people say about artists and you guys are crazy and this kind of a thing or whatever, and no, I'm not some famous artist. Gosh knows, y'all know that I work for the state of Texas. But what I'm saying is people will say all kind of things, even to you at an art show, you know, thinking you're some free, wild, crazy spirit and this, that, and the other. And I'm a little kooky. You could look back at some of them Jane videos, okay, and some of those characters that I played when I just hit record and just went off the top of my head. I love doing stuff like that and putting myself out there. And then there's sometimes I don't want to do it at all. And so those type of videos, I'm not nervous at all because it's somebody else. It's just a character. I'm just playing around. And then one time, this was like maybe 3 years ago, KT and everyone, I would hit record and I made up a play on the fly. And I think I made 2 or 3 videos, and Dee Dee was like, this is good or this is interesting or whatever. And then when she made that comment, I took them all off and put them on private. That's when it hit me. It's like, I was like, this is good. I'm just going to go off the top of my head and whatever. Had all the gumption in the world. And then as soon as somebody said something, and at the time I didn't know her as well as I know her now, even though it's by way of the net and we've live chatted outside of YouTube. But because I know her more now, if I was to do that again, I'd be more comfortable with anybody commenting on it. But that one was like, oh, I'm gonna write this one down. This is really good. I like it, but I didn't want nobody to see it because I don't want anybody thinking, why is she doing that? What is wrong with this lady? And that one I cared about. But then after that, I was over it and I just started doing more. And so anyway, I'm sure the takes are funny and the bloopers are funny, but that's what it takes sometimes to get out some smooth videos like hers. So Musical Toddy says, I have to edit. It doesn't take as long as it used to because I'm used to editing now. Exactly. And so that's like a thing that we have learned and picked up with this whole, YouTube world. And it's really cool. It's a nice thing to have. And then it's inspiring because you're a creator. It's an art form. And I love that. And people do this for a living. I wish I could make some money at that for a living. I would maybe take some time to do it. But because I would love to have a camera like my son Dante. He has a Canon. And that thing is awesome. I don't have the money for that. I would love to have that because I have a whole bunch of videos and I've been looking at them and trying to get them together. Like next year when I'm going to go offline, I'm going to try to make like these. I want to learn how to make a documentary. I want to learn how to put these characters into, since I can't do it on stage because I'm too nervous to do that. I want to actually get a book, like an August Wilson play, and like in school, in classes where they have you take a book and then rewrite it in that same fashion. And so I could do that just on video. And then, but anyway, there's a whole bunch. I mean, we ain't got time for all that. That's on Denise's mind. No, we do not. So anyway, but I do want to do something like that. And that's the part of the editing that I like. But to edit and then know I got to go to work and know I have to do this and know I have to do that. I need to go in there and do them dishes. I need to do this. My bed is all made up, looking good. Thank God. I need to wash clothes. But not a lot because I don't have a lot of clothes, but thank God, I hate that. And I'm purging, getting rid of stuff. And I put a tweet up today, a couple, that some changes are coming and I'm going to be getting rid of a lot of stuff and that I don't need. And some things that I just really love to have, but it's too much. It's for what I want to do. Not too much if I was just going to stay put, but I don't want to stay put anymore. And so I'm getting ready for my son to be leaving, where I'll be a complete empty nester. I have sisters that are in different states that I, want to go visit. There are things that I need to do before I meet my demise, and I keep saying that. I don't mean to sound whatever, but that's just it. And so, yeah, but taking books and actually swinging them in a way where I can take some of these favorite characters that we have. And I just said I wasn't going to talk about it, but anyway, so that's just on the come up for next year and the things that I want to do. Anyway, so editing Tati is really cool. And she says, and let me finish her statement. She says, but I ramble. My rambles are like rock slide out of control in caps. Tati, your rambles are cute because you're always talking about your rambles. And she's got the cutest little enduring smile when she does it. She's like, let me just go on and get through it. So you have a formula, like when at the beginning of your videos, you do a certain thing and then you start talking about the books, and then especially when it's a good book, and then you just like come to life and everything, and it's just good. And then at the ending, you have a nice formula, and that is something I have no control over. I don't have a formula. My method is a little mad and all over the place, which I've learned to love that about me, even if somebody else can't just stand that. Like, I have gone to people's videos that are outside of Booktube. I'm talking about any type of videos on YouTube where the person may be sitting up here talking just as much as I'm talking now, and I go, I can't. No, she need to wrap it up, get to the point. And then there's sometimes that same video, I'm ready for it. I watch every minute of it. So I have to be in the mood. And that's that. So Keisha Forsaken says, editing PFT. Okay, first of all, don't bring your little your little technical wizardry up in here. I can't deal. Done it once or twice, but prefer to do it in one take. Yes, but there are some videos I want to do that require editing, so I've been trying to do it a bit more. I'm hoping this year. You know who I love editing? And that's Helise. I know you guys probably all know who Helise is, and Evelyn from the internets. Helise's videos, or Helise, her videos have this movie type quality to it, and it's just really beautiful to watch. And another video that sometimes I can watch them, binge watch them, and sometimes months go by before I watch another video, but it's the family. Now I'm not going to remember it, but it's a beautiful family, and I'm not going to I shouldn't have talked about it because I'm not going to remember it. Anyway, but their editing is amazing. Try to get Keisha Forsaken says to try to get in more editing time. Well, and you're hoping to do that this year? Well, definitely. I mean, we're still at the beginning of the year, so I would be interested in watching your journey so that at the end of this year or in the middle of this year, or even 2 months from now, if you're editing or taking on that to get better at editing, let us know. I'm here for it because I want to watch the progress. And Musical Toddy says, doing multiple tasks doesn't work for me. Okay, it went all the way to the end. Goodness. So that's why I don't like to scroll. There we go. I lost it, Toddy. I was in the middle of reading I was right in the middle. And, okay. So I'm scrolling to find out where I was. Son of a gun. Blah, blah, blah. I read that. Okay, so I lost it, Toddy. There she goes. Doing multiple tasks doesn't work for me the way my brain works. It'd never be the same. Review info twice. Yeah. And I mean, I'm telling you, it's kind of, I don't know, that's the part. It's like, when I watch you guys and you do the videos where it looks like you can see that little jerk where you're putting the words right into, I don't know how y'all slice that up. I ain't got time for that. Some of y'all's videos, when you do it, is so smooth. I'm like, it's being done, but my gosh, how did you do it? Truthfully, I don't even want to know. Don't even answer that question, because that just seems very time consuming. But maybe some people are just so good at it, or their program that they have makes it easier to do. I don't know, because mine would be so herky-jerky, as you guys can tell. So anyway, KT says, I love it when I can get it in 1 or 2 takes. Sometimes I just write notes so I won't forget. Oh my God. How many notes have I written to myself? I sit at work sometime on my lunch break and write notes. This is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to talk about. And then, yeah, it's in my bag over there. I don't do it. I try. I try. That's all I'm saying. Because, you know, I can just go off. Musical Toddy says, yes, it does. A bad narrator can totally jack up how you feel about a book. Most have. Because I'm telling you, it's a completely different book. The storyline is the same, especially when I start to catch up and go, oh, I remember I like that part. I like about her tug and war of wanting her son to come home. And the narrator is talking about it, but she's not doing a splendid job. It's not like it's almost like this or that. Not that deep, because my voice is deep. Her voice is not unpleasant. It's just that she has no inflection like Robin Miles. Robin Miles is like coming to work. Like, you could see her in the studio like, this is who I am. I'm an actress. I'm going to read this book like I wrote it. Like, she knows like, I think Robin Miles did her homework, or does her homework when she does audiobooks, because the lady that I'm listening to now reading Tar Baby could literally be reading that for the first time. And then you sit up here talking about myself and how bad I do reads, and I'm trying to talk about somebody else. Yeah, because I didn't put myself on there. I didn't get paid. Anyway. But what I'm saying is, she's almost like reading Tar Baby for the first time. Showed up to the studio and they said, here's the book. And she's reading it. And so, yeah, Tar Baby, where are you? I don't know. Oh, there it is. It's under my coffee. But this is how it's going. And I'm just going to read from a book that I'm not going to tell y'all about. And this is how it sounds. Alberton, Georgia's landscape was littered with gaping holes, and the sound of dynamic blasts echoed frequently across the horizon. She's trying, but it just ain't working. That's how it is. And so then it's almost like, because I like the story, like I said, now I'm in a place where it's really familiar. So it's a little bit better. And she's not really that bad, because I know that just sounded really terrible. But Robin Miles, what she does is, and her voice changes for each character. Like, she can do a man's part where you just literally can see a man in your, and now granted, I am painting, so I have stuff on my mind when I'm listening to these narrators. So I'm into my own world where it's very quiet and it's just me and the paint. And then you have this story in your head. Now, the Cartel cracks me up, and sometimes it pisses me off, and I'm like, you know what? Y'all need to stop resurrecting folks. And I got to tell this Instagram person, I forgot, someone that commented on Instagram, she said that she's not going to continue on with the Cartel because she's losing too many of her favorites, so favorite characters. So I'm going to go back and let her know. Ashley and Jaquavis at the Cartel are in the resurrection business. They playing God all up and throughout that book. That's all I'm saying. Just keep reading. So anyway, yeah, it's almost like watching a soap opera. And you know, in your soap operas, how they kill somebody off, and then 3 months from later, that person was just in a dang coma. Oh my gosh. Or they were having a hell of a dream. Oh my God. Yeah, that's where I'm at with the Cartel. And the thing is, it's good. But that's where I'm at. Oh, what I was going to say earlier is the reason why I put the Cartel 4 back in, because I was like, I need a break after 3. I know I got 4, 5, and 6, and 7, but I need a break. I need to listen to Tar Baby, which I'm on the 3rd CD, which I just talked about, and why I put that aside. And I'm listening to, where did it go? Oh, it's under the coffee. Anyway, No One's Coming to Save Us or something like that. And, yeah, no one is coming to save us. I'm listening to this. I listened to chapter 1, and that's a book I want to read. Not to say that the narration is bad, but I was in a place where I wasn't ready to listen to that, because The Cartel was still on my mind. The Toni Morrison book, I was like going, it's not the book I read. And so I kept trying with that. So I got a little bit further in Tar Baby than I am with this. So I think for me that I'm going to have to pick this up. I'm going to take this back to the library. And yeah, that's how I'm going to do that. And oh, another one, I'm going to take it back to the library. It's actually due today. Last day of it. Didn't finish it because I want this baby. I have 2 of her books, and you guys know what it is. It's Solemn. I love her writing style. I don't even want to finish this because I keep going, this is the library's. I want my own. And so, yeah, talking about giving up some books, but there are books that I'm definitely keeping. But this is one of them, Kalisha Buchanan. Yeah, this is too good for me to just read this and take it back to the library. No, ma'am. No, ma'am, no, Pam. I'm taking it back to the library, but my next trip to the Doc Bookshop next month. Actually, I'm hoping to go to Killeen, Texas, to the Black-owned bookstore there, where Deirdre Samdecesso grew up, I believe, and she has gone to that store, and they're still open because I found out about it by the www.aalbc.com. And they have them on their list of African American bookstores in the United States that are still open. So it's before I get to Austin, and Austin is 2.5 hours away, so it's maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe, I don't know. So I'm gonna go there to that bookstore and visit it and just get that book. I'm going to call them beforehand and say, could you order this book and have it on the shelf before I get down there? Please. I know I'm probably going to find something else, but I do just want to take a little small trip because, like I said, for this year, only shopping at African-American bookstores or getting the books from independent writers, which somebody just contacted me today in the comments section, and I have some emails from 2 different independent authors talking about their books. And so I'm supposed to be looking up that, and it's over an hour, but like I said, I'm just going to keep on going. Sweet. Okay, stop looking at just that. Anyway, entertaining myself. So, we're talking about editing, and yes, it does. A bad narrator. Okay, that's where I was. And Musical Toddy says, Kay, my notes sometimes are 4 pages long. 4 pages now, Toddy. You need to go on and write a book. Not any better. Laugh out loud. And then Kay's laughing at that. Keisha Forsaken has retracted her comment. Oh, sorry, Keisha. She's editing. Keisha Forsaken is editing herself in the chat room. I'm sorry, Keisha. I couldn't go live. I'd be too nervous, says KT. Yes, you could. And Keisha Forsaken says, always listen to an audio sample because if the author is bad, I'm not going to waste my time. Exactly. And so, yeah, that, and some of them you just know that this is probably a better book. Like some of my library checkouts, I'm telling you, I had an amazing reading year last year. I mean, I've had a lot of amazing reading years, but I mean, this just happened. This was just last year. So one of the books that I do still, I could see myself rereading that because I really would like to read the physical book and get that type of experience from it. But it was an amazing audio, and that was The Fisherman. And don't even try to ask me what the name was. But The Fisherman was so good on audio that I know if I had the experience to read. And Lisa from, you know, Lisa. I'm sorry, Lisa. Couldn't think of her channel name. Y'all know I'm good now. I keep telling you, stuff just keeps escaping my mind. But anyway, she said that was one of her favorite books. And oh my gosh, is it ever? It's like I really would like to own that book and read it. And so, yeah, there's a difference. And musical, I cuss too much, Kay. My lives would be stricken from the YouTube record. No, they wouldn't. Have you seen hair care channels? Have you seen anything? Like, let's see here. Like, the one of the biggest YouTubers ever, PewDiePie, he cusses up a storm. Like, nasty mouth, like constantly. And oh, please, girl, you would probably have 50,000 subscribers if you let loose like a sailor. I'm telling you, sometimes I think that's why a lot of people just let it roll. I mean, they be F this, F that, and blah, 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 blah. It's like the whole, like, whoa, wow, wow. Yeah, but, yeah, some of them are a hot mess. Not to say I don't cuss. I'm just saying, you know, I think if I cuss as much as, that's the thing. As much as I go live, y'all would have heard me say it a lot, but obviously I don't use that on an everyday thing. You know, it's just like, I will cuss somebody out under my breath in a minute. Yes, I would. And be asking for forgiveness. So that's why, you know, that's something I actually had to work on one time. It's like, I don't want to cuss like a sailor. I don't want my mouth to be like that. I don't want to do that because I have so much more to actually say that I want somebody to hear. And it's not that I do care about offending people, but I was mostly concerned about how it actually sounded to me. But when I talk to my sister, I have 3 sisters, but specifically, like, okay, for instance, my oldest sister, Sherry, years, girl, I'm 52. I feel weird even saying the S word, like, oh, shoot, around her, you know, because it's like a respect thing. And so my sister, Sabrina, oh, Lord, and she knows I don't cuss a lot. So every time she does it, which is often, hey, Sabrina, you know, she says, oh, I'm sorry, Niecy. Oh, I'm sorry, Niecy. I'm sorry. So it's almost like the sister thing. I notice we do that with each other. It's like we don't want to cuss in front of each other. But then there's sometimes we just be going all off. And then she'll say it. She still apologizes. Like I apologize to my older sister. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. You know, like I don't want my kids ever cussing in front of my sisters. I don't care how grown you are. Those are my sisters. Don't disrespect them. I literally call my sisters aunt, this, that, and the other when I'm talking to my kids, because I don't ever want them to slip up and call my sisters by their first names without that aunt in front of it. So all my sisters, when I'm talking to my daughter and my sons, is Aunt Sherry, Aunt Sabrina, and Aunt Bebe, which is Tanya. And yeah, and for, like even when I talk to them on the phone, sometimes I'll be like, Aunt, oh, dang, the kids ain't even here and I'm calling you Aunt. But it's a respect thing, and that's, you know, if I cussed as much as yeah. This would not be a good channel to watch. Not that it is now, I'm just saying. It really would be off the chain. But I just don't want that. But YouTube ain't, they're not picky, obviously. Because you should, those people that's got millions of subscribers, they, ooh, what they can get away with, I'm telling you. So anyway, okay, we've talked about cursing and uploading videos. So we're still on topic. And, oh, the poem. Let me see. But I did want to get caught up. Keisha Forsaken, I finished the last Black Unicorn today, so I'm planning to start Tar Baby either tonight or tomorrow. Yes, I want to read the Black Unicorn, and I almost bought it, but I am, again, focusing on purchasing the independent writer since I have enough books on that shelf. And the books that I just bought, I just don't need any more books. The books that I'll be purchasing going forward, like Kalisha Buchanan from the library, I'm telling you, it'll sell you on some stuff. But going forward, and I do, like when I go down to Colleen, I want to look on their shelves. Hopefully they're like the Doc Bookshop, where they do have some independent writers that are local to their area, so that I can purchase the books there. And from the ladies who are contacting me. And all the independent writers who are contacting me, only one of them's been a male. Yep, one. The other one I already knew last year, so let me think. One so far, one guy. And which is cool, I'm just saying. I just noticed that. I don't even know why I brought that up. But anyway, let me read something. And ooh, can't read that nasty stuff. Forever? I did have a poem called that. No, I won't be reading it because there's some, yeah, about last night. No. No. Ooh. Oh, no, yeah, that's a short story, and it gets Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull some of this stuff out and put it in another book. Put it in another book. I think I've read this one before. Emotional Toes. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and this lady asked me to write a poem because it was a lady when I used to work at the bank, and she'd come in and she'd buy my books, and she said, "In your next book, can you write a poem about my first name? My name is B, but it's spelled B-E-A." So I wrote a poem about using her name, and it was just cute. So, and she really liked it, and I was so happy. And she, of course, it was a sold. It sold because I wrote a book about it. Anyway, oh yeah, I've read this one several times, and I like this. This is not like somewhat sensual or erotic, whatever. That trip I was on back there, I was young. Okay, I was young, and when you're young, you're very, shall I say, I'm not there anymore. I don't even want that in my life anymore. So anyway, this is called The Fear Within. Let me take a drink. Boy, the stuff you do when you're young, Toddy. I'm just saying. Hold on. Anyway. Woo. That's so gross. I'm spitting. Hey, it's my spit. But I don't want to crunch the ice. Like I've said. This is called The Fear Within. No, I'm not nervous at all. The fear within. Days are monotonous. I almost know this by heart, but I'm going to read it. Days are monotonous. They all seem to have the same hue and salty tin smell, cradling darkness in a midwinter's bliss. I only seem to comfort my fears, not my future plans. Just the past seem recognizable and comforting, so I beat myself up with it by welcoming everything that haunts and hurts me, just to feel the company of a kindred spirit, whether good or bad. Letting go would free me, and I am not ready or willing to be free. Freedom offers work and responsibility of happiness, and happiness is too foreign to inculcate into my tunnel-visioned mind. I have been captured willingly by the present evil I sleep with. No Oprah or aha moment will save the grace I don't welcome. I am poisoned with compassion for the enemy. So that is one of my favorite poems by me. So anyway, that one I love. I'm never really nervous about reading that one. And the reason being for that is because I love it so much. And year after year after year, I have tried to tackle that fear. And so I think I'm being more successful every year. But the young person that wrote that poem, to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just not even like a poem. This is something that I can use for the rest of my life. Like, I love that poem or whatever it is. And, you know, I'm not one of those people that's, you know, subscribe to the fact that everything has to rhyme to be a poem. I mean, you read enough poetry, you know that it's long gone. That's like very ancient. And there's, you know, violets are red and roses are blue or whatever that thing is. I love you and you love me too kind of stuff. And, or that very Dr. Seussy type of stuff. The thing is, like Maya Angelou does that in the best way, better than anybody I've read. Because sometimes you can go to a spoken word event and the spoken word poem and poet are so good when they do that rhyming thing, and that whole cadence is amazing. Yet, when you read it in a book, you go, I'd rather see them perform this. And then you turn the page and they go, whoa, that is really amazing. Like, I love reading Talam Acies because I can hear his voice. There are so many people that have that or copied his style of spoken word. But when you read his poems, they're just as good, or not just as good, because he's so much better on stage than in your own mind, possibly. But they're good poems, regardless. And, oh, there's one poem that I wrote that I actually sent to him, and he, in his arrogant self, yes, I called you arrogant, sir, and I love you for it. Because, I mean, to me, you have to have some sort of arrogancy to get on a plane and go from here to there and live and survive as a poet. And he's a paid poet. That's his job. Okay. And so I used to be signed up, and I'm still signed up for his on his website or whatever. And whenever he goes somewhere, he sends everybody an email and, you know, that kind of a thing when you're signed up for anything, right? So I don't know. I had met him before, and because I lived in Florida, and his best friend, Life, the poet there. So, and I did a painting for him. Anyway, I met him there, and so when I was talking to him online, I sent him this poem that I wrote, which I'm sure people do all the time. It's that kind of thing. I don't know if I was fangirling or I just got so comfortable. I'm just going to send Talam AC this poem, and he read it, and he goes with his ego, which it's not a bad thing to me, because ego is a good thing to me. Not ridiculously ego, but for him, yes. So he says, I thought it was going to be bad. This is really good. And I was like, boy, I know. But anyway, it was a poem that even my teacher really, truly loved. And some of my poetry, I go, what is that? That is so trash. That is just ridiculous. Take it out, rework it, do whatever, or just throw it away. So, you know, I've read, like I said, some really amazing poetry by award-winning poet laureates, and then you read one of their poems, you go, why? Why is that a poem? Why is it in the book? How did that make the book? And then you have to, I like going back and dissecting, like, where were they? Like, sometimes with Langston Hughes, you can actually see him sitting on a porch stoop in Harlem or something, writing this poem, or watching soldiers and being into whatever he's writing about, the war, this, that, and the other. You could just, he's so good. And so there are great, great, great poems out there, and there's some trash. And there's some trash up in here. Okay, that's why I'm not ever going to sell this as it is. I'm going to take what I really love out of it and move the freak on. See there, Toddy? I said the freak. I use that all the time. So anyway, let me see. Oh, we're an hour and 23 minutes. And we have 10 people still watching. So is that a go? Just keep talking? Because you know, ain't nobody going to be watching these videos back. Hi, Ashley. Hey, Miss Denise. Yay for the stories you're working on now. Yay. Thank you. Let me go back up. Okay, so now I can go down. We read about the last unicorn, and she is so funny. I still haven't seen Girls Trip. I still haven't. And I know I want to, but I didn't go to the movies and see it. My son. Yes, my son. I love having kids that just buy tickets for you so you can go to movies with them. So we have movies to see, tickets to see Black Panther. I just can't wait. It's going to be fun. Me and DJ are going to go. And Musical Toddy says, see how you edit it yourself, Keisha? I do that 30 times in a video. Ashley J says, hey, Miss Denise, yay for the stories you're working on. Okay, so that's where I left off. Keisha for a second says, laugh out loud. Editing my comment is easier than editing a video, but sometimes when I can't seem to do a video in one take, I'm like, I need to learn how to edit. And she says, And then KT says, laugh out loud, Toddy, stop cussing. I second that. Toddy, I can't imagine you cussing that much. Toddy says, I'm trying, Kay. I said Tuesday last week that I wasn't going to cuss all day. Didn't make it to 10:30 in the morning, Toddy. And good evening, everyone. Hi, Onyx Pages. Najiri is back. How are you? And then hi, and everybody's speaking. So scroll down. Great things happen when you scroll down. I'm trying, but as soon as if I hit it too hard, then it just like, it like rolls like a, whatchamacallit. Wait, what? You lived in Germany? Why? So cool. My husband, the pilot, military thing, 2 years. We saw The Wall, which is in Berlin. We went to Frankfurt, we went to Munich, we went to Stuttgart. Is that what it was? It's so freaking beautiful there. And the castles and the beer drinking young kids and wine drinking at dinner time, which dinner is more like an actual supper here, as dinner is in the lunchtime. And our babysitters were Heidi and Pedra. how German is that? And they were in year-round school. It was really cool. And we had dinner, at least me and my kids had dinner, because my husband was always out in the field over in Germany. And me and her name is Janice. Hi, Janice. I know Janice probably don't know, whatever. Me and a friend of mine, we lived in Libby. We didn't want to live on post, so we lived in a little town called Libby, which is close to Nuam, which is where the military base was, and a lot of other people that lived on post. So anyway, we lived in this little cute town, and the markets and the chocolate, and I still might know my German numbers. 1, 2, 3, whatever. 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, whatever. So anyway, and then we learned kindergarten German. But me and Janice, she was from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Goodness gracious, that was like in the 80s. And I still remember her because she was older than me, like maybe 5, I don't know. But she was like this beautiful, real woman. And she had a daughter, and I had my little ones. And that's where Tasha learned how to walk over in Germany. But so Tasha and Dante and me and Janice and her daughter. Does she have a son or a daughter? Oh, my bad. Anyway, we had an amazing time. We went out and caught the buses to go out of town or just to see the city, getting on a bus in Germany, not knowing anything other than our little kindergarten Germany. The bus guy, I remember him being so sweet. Like, he would let us know when we were back into our city and, how the time, everything. And we just went on this escapade and just around. It was just beautiful. That's something that you'll never forget. Things like that in your mind, because I'm such a visual person. Obviously, I'm art, so I can still see. One of the things that impresses me about any place, I know it's weird, and it may not be weird. I'm stop saying that things that I do are weird, because a lot of people like the same things I do. But trees, you guys. On this bus ride, the countryside was so beautiful, and the trees are so tall, and just like somebody just planted them perfectly lined up. They were like windbreakers. And when I went to Oregon for a whole month and I taught this class, they took me out to the natural parks, and on the way up this mountain and all those big old large trees on the west coast of America are big and huge rather. My phone is going off. Stop. So anyway, it was just, it's an amazing experience, and I just loved it. It was pure beauty. And I always tell DJ, I wish that I could go back and take him with me and let him see that. He wants to go to Japan. I wish the kid would just go for a whole year and then come back to the United States. So I obviously got an email. Now I'm getting it on the laptop. So anyway, let me move on, because I got some tabs open and I was supposed to talk about it. I'm so sorry. For all you independent writers, this is Reading Blackout 2018 for me. And I just need to maybe dedicate Sundays, which Sundays I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about. I don't know about doing Sundays, because we don't talk enough here. Why would I do this again tomorrow? What am I going to talk about? Because I'm going to finish the Cartel tonight and that painting. So I guess I can talk about that. But anyway, or I don't know. I just don't know about doing it back to back, because it's almost like I don't have an actual day to not do this, which I really love doing. It's a conundrum. I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do it really early, or just whenever I feel like it. Maybe I'll just take the time off of it, because sometimes time gets on my last nerves when this is the weekend. I have the time off. 9 p.m. on Saturday is like perfect. It's later in the day, but 6 p.m. on Saturday, knowing that, and then what's best about 6 p.m. Saturday is the rest of the night I'm done, and so I can just get over there and do whatever. Anyway, I got to make some earrings tonight out of this fabric. I got to order for some black earrings, and look at this. I think I've shown you guys, but this is awesome. This is what I got, and I posted a picture of my dolls today on Instagram. Oh, look at my fingernails. It's gold glitter. So anyway, I'll be making some earrings out of this tonight and the black. And I'm making 3 pair for one of my coworkers. and she'll choose whichever one she wants. And then I'm just going to make earrings and some more bookmarks since I'm going to be sewing. Not tonight. I've got it sitting right here because I'm just going to cut the shapes, possibly tonight. And then tomorrow, when I get in the other room, my art room, and start sewing, then I don't know if I want to cut up my time, or maybe I'll just bring the camera in there. And while I'm sewing, I could talk to you. How about that? I don't know. We'll do it. We'll do something. I don't know. Because I really enjoy talking, obviously, to y'all. Stephanie. Okay, wait, what? Okay, that's where I left off with Najiri. And then Stephanie R. Bridges says, nice reflection about the Cosby Show. Thank you. I'm going to take all the good from that show that I got, because I mean, I'm Denise Huxtable, okay? I loved that character. I loved them all. I loved how smart all these kids were off the set. All these people, from Dr. Cosby's wife being a Spelman grad to Felicia Rashad, and when she was married to Ahmad Rashad, I mean, they're very well-known people, to Felicia Rashad's sister, Debbie Allen, to Debbie Allen and Felicia's mother, who was in a book that, learned about her life and in the arts, and just amazing cast of people. And Vanessa is like some straight A's student. She's a little child genius or something, but she's just an amazing young lady. And then, of course, just all of them. And Malcolm and Jamal Warner, Mal's, who, has albums and stuff out. And I don't know. The whole cast was phenomenal. And the lessons and the grandpa and the grandmother. Yeah. That was as good of a feeling that I got from that show that I got from Crooklyn. Spike Lee is like one of my favorite. Even the crazy, like, there's a movie that I didn't know that was Spike Lee's. I didn't even hear about this movie coming out, and it's about a vampire. Oh my God, it is so good. And the reason it's so good, because number one, I like his style when he, cinematography or whatever you want to call it, the way he makes a movie. But the way he did this movie was so dope. Like, I've watched it 3 times. I watched it once because I was like, I didn't know Spike. I thought I knew everything Spike Lee. So I'm watching this movie and I'm like, oh my God, it's so good. It's so scary, but not, well, yeah, it is scary. Okay, it's about vampires. Okay, but it's so dang. It's Spike Lee, okay? It's so freaking beautifully put together. And then that's all I'm saying. I could go off on a tangent about that, and yeah, I watched She's Gotta Have It, the movie, and the series, and then I watched the series again from start to finish. And I can fight with things he says, and I like that. I like to disagree and agree and still enjoy the beauty of what he does. And I love that feeling. That movie Crooklyn and the Cosby Show gave me that same, that New York vibe that they have. It's just, it's so Americana, right? Anyway, but Stephanie, okay, I can't get over his sexual assaults though. Neither can I. But being that what that show did for everybody at that time, can't take away from it. I learned way too much. I was inspired way too much. We talked about the curator for the show and the artists that he had put in there, the jazz musicians that I learned about, a music that I liked but fell in love with because of that. I learned about so many different musicians, that like the Eric Dolphy that I was talking about earlier before I had some technical difficulties. But I learned so much, and as an artist, some things you just can't unlearn. Like, there are people out there, like, I couldn't get over that, and it hurt. And then I also was like, I'm not one of those let's just blame the women, because whatever. And I kept thinking, I don't want to, like, he was married. How many drinks people gonna have with him? I kept saying, oh my God, what was going on? And then I'm like, if I was an inspiring actress and I'm having a drink with the cause, and this person had, and it's like all these women that he did this to. It's like, God dang, like, who is he? Like, I literally, like, before, I mean, his groundbreaking show was The Cosby, that had his name in it. He was like one of the first African Americans to have a show after his name. This is not The Cosby Show. I'm talking about The Bill Cosby Show, because I'm old. And he had the cool little afro, you know, and it was like a detective kind of show or whatever, and it was just really cool. And I bought the DVD. This is way before we knew what was going on. And I was like, wow, all those, and the movies with Sidney Poitier, with Uptown Saturday Night and all that. I'm like, all of this culture, all this thing that I got from that, and how it inspired us, a generation of people that are the same people that are making movies, making all these careers that have come out and have been inspired by that. And then look who we got in office, grabbing this and that and the other. And, you know, just, it's a crazy world. Some of the things that I have done in my life, I go, no, I ain't killed nobody, no, I ain't sexually abused nobody, I'm just saying. But what I'm saying is, I don't know if I think I've done something to somebody that they can't get over. I've broken somebody's heart, and I actually saw it breaking. I freaking saw it breaking. I've done it, and I hurt somebody really bad. Not hurt like physical hurt. I'm talking emotionally, like it changed who that person was in our relationship and afterward. And I've had that done to me as well. And because, like, you know, getting into a relationship and treating that person like, no, I'm going to hold all this back for me because this person did a number on me, physically, emotionally, whatever. And yet that person's life is just, with this other person, is just amazing, and they are thriving, and I'm grateful that I was able to get over it. But the things that this person did, everything that he offered us in that time, and all the people that spawned from that show and that were inspired that he doesn't know or we don't know, all the lives that it touched, and then to have to deal with that, no, we're never going to get over that. That hurts. No, it hurts. It does. It's wrong, wrong. Wrong is wrong is wrong. You can't pray a wrong thing right. I tell my kids that all the time. But it's at the same token, I can't unlearn that inspiration. Never going to be able to outrun it and learn it because of who he was. And we figure out who he became, and so forth and so on. So with all that said, you know, that's just how it is. And then where are we? Musical Toddy. The Cosby Show did an awesome job of placing black culture in the mainstream. Yeah, I remember that scene where they were in the hospital and all the staff were black. And I used to work in an emergency room, and we had a mostly white staff. My husband used to work there too. He was on the security. I was in admissions, ER admissions, and we had a white male ER doctor, Dr. Peterson. Never going to forget him. One of the nicest guys I've ever worked with, and he always bought us really nice presents at the end of the year. He had the money, but he was on staff at that hospital, and it was a hospital that I was born in, and he was on staff at that hospital for years. So, and he was an older guy, and he was just nice. And there's two of them. The other African American ER doctor was from New York, Dr. Guy Williams. The two of them worked so well together. And I remember people coming through, and I don't want no black doctor to do that. And I'm like, I remember thinking, you just ain't seen the Cosby Show. There are black doctors everywhere. And I had that thought, and I remember one time when we were in Delaware, and then we were just going through, and being from Kansas, and of course, you know, my first husband was from the East Coast, and from New Jersey, and so going to New Jersey and Philadelphia and Rhode Island and just all those places up east for the first time. That was the first time I had ever seen that many black people. That was the first time I was like in a place where it was exactly like the Cosby Show. And I would hear naysayers when I got back Midwest or South. Oh, those things aren't, the Cosby Show aren't true. There's not that many black people working in the emergency room. The emergency room I worked at, there was 3 of us. Like I told you, my husband, myself, and Dr. Guy Williams. But when I went up east, every nurse, every doctor, it was exactly like the Cosby Show. So for people to go, that wasn't realistic. Oh, yes, it was. Oh, yes, it was. And then you think about this, the actual cast. Look who they are. Okay, so it was amazing. It was amazing. It was a groundbreaking. So, you love my earrings? My sister made them. Yeah, I know. I told you most of the earrings that I wear are, if they have beads in them, are earrings that my sister made, and I love them. And I like the ones that go straight down like this. I don't know. I like the hoops, but the ones that go straight down like this and they kind of look, they look like a globe, like little, like you can see, but it's not. It's just a little abstract, but it reminds me of like the countries and stuff that you see, and continents. And Tati, yep, it did. Ooh. And Onyx says, Ashley J, that's cool. What was that like? Oops, I missed something. Ashley J, what part of Germany? I lived in Heidelberg. It was Liebe, which was real close to New Ulm. We landed, when we went over there, 14-hour flight, we landed in Frankfurt. So we were 3 hours, I think it was 3 hours it took us to get from Frankfurt to the little town that we lived in. And we were 45 minutes away from Munich. The first year I was there, we went to the Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest. I remember, it was just amazing. And so that's where we were. There she goes. I lived in Heidelberg and Frankfurt for a few years, many years ago, around 1992, 95-ish. We were there from the 84 to 86 crew type of, yeah. I think that's 83, 84, 5. Yeah, and came back because I had my son, William, in New Jersey. I conceived him in Germany and didn't want to have my baby in Germany. I didn't. So that's why he was born in New Jersey, where his dad is born. So it's Atlantic City, New Jersey. And so going down. Oh, Denise, I love your earrings. Okay, so that's where I was. Onyx, from what I remember, it was nice. A lot of Americans, a lot of us. Yes, there were, Ashley. My mom was in the military. We lived in the barracks, most deaf. And I remember one time, one time we went to McDonald's over in Germany. There were so many Americans in this McDonald's. There was, most of the staff was German. And there was this young lady who was obviously black and white, because you could tell she was mixed. And every American was in her line. Her line was real long because we thought she could speak English. We get up there, she spoke German. We were like, oh gosh. So we just like pointing at stuff. But that's a memory I had that was just kind of funny. It was cute. It was too cute. Going from, Helen H says, I'm in school now. What are you studying? Okay, let me keep reading. Going for my master's degree and LSSP. It's not easy, but I love it. LSSP. Splain. Onyx says, that's interesting. Do you speak any German? Just the kindergarten, which I learned was a German word. We've been using that for years in the United States. I can still only count. And when you live in the little towns in Germany, I remember the little markets, and you go to get your food. And so he would teach me, like he said, when you come into the store, because he spoke perfect English. When I come into the store, he wanted us to speak, he would teach us like a German word. So we learned how to say milk instead of milk, saying Milch or what have you. And the chocolate, we had to ask him, like he was teaching us. And I remember we went to a plant store. We just wanted some dirt. We were saying soil, ground, whatever, all this crazy stuff. And the lady goes, dirt? We were like, okay, yeah, that's what we want. We're just trying to plant some flowers and we need some dirt. She just laughed at us and went back there and got the big old bag of dirt. But we just learned, like, we had to take this kindergarten. It was called Kindergarten German. before we even went there. So we learned how to count in the numbers, so I can still count and recognize more words than I can say them. And like sprechen Sie Deutsch, nichts, nein, zwei, whatever, and all that kind of, I can understand a little bit more than what I can actually say, because that's 80s, okay? And I didn't continue, trying to keep up. But for some reason, me and my son were even talking about this the other day, because I have a sister-in-law, my only brother's wife, who's been married since I was 11 years old. She took Korean classes. Like, she's graduated. The woman can read, write, and speak Korean, and that's just something that she wanted. She loved Korean music, and so she wanted to learn it. I think that was her reason behind it. But she's well college educated, been having really huge career in the real IBM upper echelon, but so she's already educated, but this is something that she wanted to learn. And I'm like, that would be so hard for me to do. And because it took me a while to learn the German, but then when you live there, you pick up certain, and I never got lost. I could get around enough to know how to get my black butt back home. Okay, so that's about it. Kindergarten, that's it. But, what I was going to say was, me and my son were talking about that because he wants to learn Japanese. And so he can count in Japanese, and everybody in America could probably count in Spanish. And you never lose the numbers, but the words disappear more than the numbers. Like, what is that? It's like, are we more concentrated on counting our money? But something about the numbers that are still most memorable in my head than the actual speaking of all those words and sentences. I could put together sentences going into the store. Not so much now. Not so much at all. But remember Spanish numbers, remember German numbers, and heck, rap taught us how each me son sheet was, I didn't know that until a rap song. But you don't forget numbers. I don't know what that's about. Maybe you guys will. Anyway, so let me scroll down. Stephanie says, none of the readings distracted from the poems. I think that is key. You did an excellent read of each, and I like the back and forth with which poem you would choose next. Your writing is beautiful. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate that. That's a hard thing to do, is knowing that you have to just like sit here and read something for a video. So today was my day that I was supposed to do that, and I'm glad it's over. I really am. I know some simple phrases like danke, yep, which is thank you. Bitte is little. Guten Morgen, guten Nacht. I remember those. And what else? She has guten Tag, thank you, you're welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, Onyx. Me and my mom use those. And I still say that sometimes. There's a lady at work and she says guten Morgen, and I said guten Morgen, and guten Nacht, and what else? Just little stuff. But it's funny how when you hear somebody, you go, oh, I know what they're saying. I know what they're talking about. But to even see it and spell it out, the more I wrote it down, the more I remembered it. But I wasn't writing down a lot of the numbers. But like, some of, English is such a bastard language where we snatch from other languages, other countries. And so when we were first learning the German numbers, I was like, what? 12 is German anyway. Kindergarten is German. You start to pick up all these English, so-called English words that belong to somewhere else. And that was fascinating because I was very young then. I mean, I was in my 20s, okay? So 30-something years later, no. And then Kay says, my bloopers, though. I love the blooper reel Najiri did. Yes, it was so cute, says Kay. I agree. That was so cute. And it just looked like she had such a fun, you look like you had a fun time. I'm talking about you like you're not here. You look like you had a fun time doing it as well. And Musical Toddy says, I think we all could do a blooper reel. Girl, yeah. Especially when I used to really like to try to sit down and edit. Yeah, I had to start deleting. I had so much stuff on this computer. I considered doing one a long time ago, but seeing Nigerians has got me thinking about it again. Definitely do it, Toddy. Keisha for a second says, I sometimes think about doing a blooper Okay, so, oh, that's what happened. See, I didn't touch anything. So when people are typing, then it gets caught up. And I just lost her comment. Now I have to scroll back up. So that's what happens. Gotta love, see, now I gotta scroll way too far. Oh, man. Anyway, good night, good night, good night, good night. Okay, everyone, I have heard, head to work tomorrow. I hope you all have a great evening, says Najiri. Good night, sweetheart. Ashley J says, I really can only listen to books by a few narrators. Really enjoy them. I like Nicole Smalls, Carrie Height, and Honey Jones. See, I will be looking at that when I copy. And I was supposed to be doing a whole bunch of stuff, so I'm going to have to get caught up with this tomorrow, talking about the independent writers and also looking at the comments before, because there were some writers that I went on Goodreads when Phyllis Rhodes gave those suggestions in the live chat one time. And I looked them up on Goodreads, and so I clicked on want to read, so I made sure that I have a list, and so I'll do the same thing with the people that you're listing now, because that really helps. I love recommendations, and then we can also list them in the comments section. Gotta love soap operas, forever bringing back people, yes, from the dead. Like, I don't care if they shot them in the head and we see the body and everything. Exactly. It's like, that's what's going on with the cartel right now, you guys. Seriously, like, remember when I said, and you can't really even, well, at least I can't. I don't even want to talk about the cartel too much, other than the fact that it's a crime family that runs Miami, the streets of Miami, with the drugs, obviously, and everybody's strapped and got a gun. So there's Carter, actually his name is Carter Diamond, and his wife's name was Taryn Diamond. So you got those two, and then their kids. They have a set of twins called Mecca and Money. Mecca's name is Mecca. I don't think there's anything else, but Money's name is Monroe. And they're fine. You could tell the way they talk about them and everything, and, you know, whatever. So, and they're two just polar opposites, right? One of them's but they're all drug dealers, so it's not like you can say one's a good guy, one's a bad guy. One's wild and one is not so wild, okay? And then their little sister, Breeze Diamond. So that's the cartel family. And then, you know, and then there's their uncle, which they haven't brought back into the picture for this one yet. Oh my goodness, I kind of miss him. And he's like a really good friend of the family, and they call him uncle, but I don't think he's really their blood related uncle, but he was very close to the main Carter Diamond, the father. And so the cartel's losing some folks due to a war. Haitians, they call it the Haitian war, whatever, and they are just warring back and forth and killing one another and what have you. And then the next book, you're like, oh my God, not him. He shouldn't have died. Like, why build him up and, you know, you just, whatever. Ciao. Okay, something just happened. I don't know what happened, but anyway, I could see myself, and I didn't switch screens or anything. But anyway, then you start to lose these people. Like, we're almost 2 hours, but I don't care. You start to lose people. And then they show up in the next book and like, so why are you backtracking? Oh, so somebody had a dream like a soap opera girl. It is so soap opera-ish, but it's good. Like, I can't get enough. Like, the reason why I'm going from book to book to book, because it's not done. It's like, you know, when you read a 400-page novel, okay, it's pretty much done. Okay, it's done. But this is like stringing you on. This favorite character done died off, or so you think, and then it shows up in the next one. Why are they rehashing this story? Oh, so she just gonna, I didn't like her anyway. Okay, now she back. And so it's this whole time, and so I'm gonna listen to the whole thing. I'm sorry, like I said, because I done got them all from the library. Oh, and that day I got them from the library, I went to 2 libraries, because remember I went to lunch to get, like, you know, some of the books, and they didn't have them all. After I got off work, I went to my library right around the corner and got the rest of them. Yes, I did. So I went to 2 libraries that day to finish all. And there I am again. I don't know what's going on. So if y'all still here, let me know. There's 9 people watching this. And I'm gonna wrap this up, and yeah. Yes, Victor will be on YR forever. Girl, Victor Newman. Well, I don't even watch it anymore because I got a day job, but my mother watched it. Aretha Franklin watches it. You know, everybody watched Young and the Restless. Well, not everybody, but you know what I mean? So many people. And Victor, I used to always say this, like, watching soap operas, especially like when I was really young and my mom was watching it, my sisters watched it. Victor Newman, you know, he was so beautiful and good looking and so suave, and he always had his hand in his pocket, and he was always clean. And him and Nikki, remember Nikki was a stripper back in the day. If y'all young and y'all don't know this, but Nikki was a stripper, and that's how she met Victor Newman. And then years would go by, like when I got grown, I couldn't watch it anymore. Like when I had kids, I was like, daytime TV to this day, I still can't watch daytime TV because of the soap operas. I don't watch judge shows. I don't do that. If I have a day off, the TV in there doesn't get turned on that much with me and DJ. So anyway, we watch like Hulu and Netflix, like I've told you guys. But anyway, I can't do it anymore. And like I remember one time I went in there to watch PBS because I like watching their like documentaries or whatever. And I scrolled past and the dang Young and the Restless was on. I was like, Lord have mercy, Victor is still alive and well on this show. But I used to always explain the soap operas, like, you know, back in the day when I was watching them when I was young, if I missed like a whole month, Victor, you watch it again, Victor's still standing in the living room talking to the same chick. I'm like, have they moved? It's Jack. And when they changed Jack, I was mad, but I was like, oh my gosh. Anyway, the Young and Restless. They should be called the Old and the, I don't know, Old and Jagged. I don't know, but that show is old. And oh my gosh. Okay, we were talking about soap operas, you guys. I'm sorry. I start to read. I used to write poetry, says Keisha. And when I was younger, even used to be a part of this group when AOL chats were a thing. Showing my age. Hashtag showing her age. Yeah, I remember AOL. I used to always, I had a AOL, but I just never got on it. I think that's when I really was writing. I was really young too, and I was married and had kids, and I just didn't, the internet, I remember when we first got into the internet, I used to be a part of Saul Williams' website, and I used to, you know, chat back and forth with some poets there, but I wasn't really big into it. You know, the internet chat rooms were kind of big, but they were not like this. You know how we are now, and everything is live and this, that, and the other, and it's fun. I'm East Coast too, but wide awake, says Kay. I'm listening, but I'm nodding off. It's 11:30 here. I think I'm done commenting. And we are at 1 minute and 59 seconds, 59 minutes and 28 seconds. Days of Our Lives, everybody, from the 80s. Child, Days of Our Lives. I never watched that one. That was a good movie with Bill and Sidney. Yes, I remember watching those when I was dating. I was like, you have got to see these movies. It was Sidney Poitier, Bill Cosby, who else? Oh, you know all those movies. But anyway, there were so many, and they were so good. So funny, and the clothing and everything. Denise, what's her name? Cheryl. I always call her Denise, but Cheryl. Really beautiful Cheryl. You know what I'm talking about? The Dream Girl. She was in one of the movies as one of the students, and those movies. 2 hours, we're done. I am going to turn on John Coltrane and be up and out so that I could possibly, yeah. Ain't nobody painting tonight. Possibly, maybe. I'm not even tired. But, thank you. I appreciate it. So, I wanted to hash out some of the nerves of uploading videos and reading. I'm over it now. Until tomorrow.